What is up, winning team? My mental health is in the bin. Yeah, it's in the bin. So we're out in the nature. And just look how gorgeous. Look at this. Look. This is where I'm sitting right now. I just got out to get a gift for my brother. And before I get into what I was actually going to say, because I'm going to do a separate video in a moment because I got a lot to say, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about how us humans actually ruin everything. Because, like, for example, I'm sitting here enjoying life, right? Enjoying taking up space in nature. We got the ducks doing their thing. We've got the trees look at the trees looking gorgeous. Look at the bridge. It looks lovely, right? And what am I doing? What am I contributing to all of this? They're breathing out oxygen into the air. So even though I'm here like with a sore throat and a blocked nose and a bloating and a burnt fingers and a high blood pressure and everything, right? Even though I got all that going on, I feel rejuvenated. You know what I mean? Like, and most people be like, if you're that ill, you should stay at home. Why would I stay indoors? Hello, I'm coming to where life itself is living. So that's why I'm out here. Look at how good I look as well. Damn, son. This is the problem. I be looking too okay when I'm not okay. You see? But anyways, what was the point of this? Yeah, I was going to say, what am I contributing to all of this? What do we contribute? There's litter everywhere. I'm freaking breathing in the beautiful oxygen coming from all these gorgeous trees. I'm breathing out carbon dioxide. This is what I'm saying. We as humans, we just actually by nature ruin everything. But yeah, so that's just what I was thinking about. And I was just enjoying just sitting here listening to, actually I was just listening to Glorilla. Because she got me. I told you, she got me with one verse. And I was just like, you know what? And I always knew she would, because I could just tell, you know, because one of the things she was saying in her verse, she was talking about how I don't fight over niggas. And I was like, thank you. Because that's something I've never understood about, like, women. Like, yesterday I watched Mean Girls again. I've watched Mean Girls twice recently. It's so random. And that's one thing I've never understood about girls, like, my whole entire life is, why the hell do we fight over guys? Like, listen, if a guy doesn't want you, that's his error in judgment. Why am I going to fight? Why am I going to fight? Why am I going to compete? Why am I going to see you as my competition? Like, it's just weird. Like, being a woman sucks so hard. And yeah, you know, guys, I always tell you, I always find myself sitting without even doing it on purpose, directly in front of the sun. You just can't really tell because of this tree, but hold on. And also, yes, they've cut all the trees down here. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. But they've cut all the trees down here. I used to come here when I was 16. I'm now 28. But, and you wouldn't be able to tell that this pond was here. It used to, like, all this area, you see how you can see all these gaps? You would never see that. It used to be complete forest. Even in the middle of the day like this, it would be like an actual forest, like, surrounding this. But they've cut like 2/3 of the trees down. So the air quality is not as good as it used to be, but it's good enough for now. But yeah, I just wanted to pop in to say that before I get into should I just go straight into my actual video or what I was going to say? I don't know why I felt like I needed to separate the two. Anywho, so here's the story. I was just having thoughts of the Lord because I was feeling so irritated, right? Because a bunch of irritating things happened. I was like, I've come out, I wasn't feeling good, but I knew if I just force myself out, once I'm out, I'm not going to regret it. Even though I was feeling horrible, I was feeling tired, I was just actually been asleep, I felt like I wanted to go to sleep more. But I was like, just go out and you're going to feel better. And lo and behold, the Lord always delivers. Does he ever fail? He never does. And so I came out and the first thing I did was go to all the shops or whatever, and I was looking for a gift or whatever. And, you know, that was a blessing because that's so nice. It's so cute. And my baby bro's going to be 16 now. He's 16. But anyway, but then, you know what? I forgot. It's a Friday morning, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to go out and there's not going to be that many people out. Tell me why there's so many people out. But then again, it's because, you know, it's half terms. Some of the kids are off this week. Some of them are off next week. Some of them are off both. Excuse me. Why are some of the kids off both weeks, actually, come to think of it? Because, anyway, whatever. I don't understand this education system as long as I've worked in it. But anyway. And so, wow, look, the sky looks gorgeous. Let me show you guys. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it, actually. I really need to invest in. Oh, look at it! Look at it! Look at that! And the clouds are just moving, and everything's just flowing, and God is just good. But yeah, so anyway, and I don't really sit here anymore. The only time I sit here is when I really don't have the energy to go out, because now this is a public space. Now there's always people here, and it's freaking annoying. I remember back in the days when I used to come here after work. I used to work at Decathlon when I was like 16. After I finished my shift, which I finish at like 8:30, me and my friends sometimes would come here after work, and we would walk into this forest. And it was great. It was so much fun because it would be dark, and because it was an actual forest, you couldn't actually see what was happening. So for all we knew, we were going to just walk into the pond without realizing, you couldn't see anything. Even now at night, because they've got all the freaking lights. Did I show you? I'll give you an example. There's one of them right here. This is what they've added now. So at night, now it's all lit, right? Look, here's one of them. Right here, you see this thing? And they're all down there, all down the pathway. Can you see? There's one there as well. So now, there's plenty over here as well. So now when you walk past here at night, it's all lit. It's all freaking lit. Oh, yay! So now the humans can come and do more ruining. So now there's more ruining going on, and there's more litter, and there's just more people, and just... But anyway, I was going to say, yeah, so I went out, and I keep thinking there's something on my hand, but it's just these flipping boils from where I burnt myself. Can you see that now? All because I was making soup, and I wanted to drink it while it's piping hot. But anyway, it is what it is. We've established I'm a hazard to myself. So anyway, I've come out. There were so many people. And I was just like... So I tried, and I was like, you know what? I'm not in the headspace. I took photos of all the things that I wanted, that I was considering. And things I was happy with, which I found some really good options of what I wanted to get. And then I was like, I'm dipping. I'm buying myself some snacks. I'm getting some junk food. I'm dipping. I'm going to go spend some time in nature. I'm going to buy some junk food. And I'm going to go and just watch things that are going to make me laugh and get me into a better mood, because my mood is in the bin. But I'm happy though, because like work-wise and other things-wise, I've actually like organized those things, so which I'm really happy about. And, and it's going to be the Sabbath starting this evening. So I was like, you know what, sack off today. I do actually still have some work to do, mind you, but we'll get it done. You know what I mean? My job, it just stresses me out, and it's just not worth the money, and I just can't stand the parents. But doing the job itself and all the bits, I actually quite enjoy. I especially, my favorite part is actually all the paperworky stuff, because I love me a PowerPoint. I love designing things. You know what I mean? Speaking of, I've been thinking of rebranding the whole winning team. Like I'm updating the logo and stuff. Tell me your thoughts of that. Anyways, look at me, gorgeous. Why do I always look good when I'm ill? That's why no one ever believes me, because I'm telling you guys I'm falling apart and all this, and I look fine. I look fabulous. I look like, anyway. So yeah, so I was getting annoyed about the people as per usual, and then I was just like, you know what, Lord, maybe it's not the moment, because that's one thing I've learned is that sometimes. Just be self-aware. Like, it's just not the moment. Like, it's just like, it's like how when I'm in a bad mood, I just avoid people even extra, because I'm like, it's not your fault that I'm in a bad mood. So I'm just going to keep myself to myself, rather than other people go and take their anger out on people. I just keep it to myself. So then I just had to sack that off. In the midst of me processing that, I see this guy who I know, who I used to talk to when I was 13, but he was 18. And I was just like, oh, what a great life I've lived. So that was just nice as well to add the icing on the cake, So anyways, and then I went to my favorite shop, my favorite corner shop, thinking you guys always have everything I want in there. Tell me why they didn't have anything that I wanted in there. Excuse me. So I was like, I went to a different shop anyways, it was fine. And then I decided I'm going to come and sit here for a little bit and just chill. And on the way, like, I was feeling annoyed, but as I was approaching the nature and the trees, and as I was walking up to here and I was listening to Glorilla, which is crazy. As I was doing that, I was like, you know what? I realized something. I realized that, you know what? God is kind of doing self-development with me at the minute, because what I've realized is that throughout this whole year, I've like significantly cared less and less what the hell people think about me. And it's quite funny, because obviously I've been doing this whole David series where we're talking about David becoming king and fear of God versus fear of man. And one of the biggest things that just bothers me, especially being around humans, is how much people, like even just walking around, there's the little tiny things that bother me, like about how, you know, all these random societal rules and stuff. This is the stuff that I just see and I'm just like, Lord, you can just let me go to Antarctica and live with my 9 huskies and my 5 tigers and my 4 Icelandic horses, and I don't know who else is going to be invited yet. But anyway, you know, but then I had a realization that, you know, oh, the helicopter. What kind of helicopter we got? Is it a body? Is it the police? Let's have a look, guys, because I'm nosy. Where are you? The free? Oh, it's over there. I can't tell what kind of helicopter that is from here. Anyway, so you see what I'm saying? I'm too active. I really struggle to sit still, even when I'm not okay. Even when I feel unwell. So, and I'm kicking my legs. You can't see behind the scenes. You know, there's no scenes. Anyway, whatever the heck. So I was thinking to myself, like, I always try to think, why? This is one thing I think you always have to do in life, in whatever circumstances you're in. Why is God allowing me here? Because it could be for good reasons and for bad reasons. So, like, for good reasons could be, like, for me, I'm realizing that as much as I'm annoyed and as much as all these things are happening, I'm caring less and less what people think. I'm getting closer and closer to God because I'm realizing that, like, he genuinely is there for me no matter what, right? And if not for him, I wouldn't have become the woman I am today. And I like myself more every day. Like, the more everything's happening, as much as I'm annoyed, as much as I hate being here, whatever, I'm like, wait, but I like myself. Like, I actually like myself way more. I like who I'm becoming. And, like, in my whole artist development, I feel like I'm in artist development, like, because what I really want to do, and this is what I'm struggling with, is just being able to just say what I really think. Because the thing is, you guys, people are always like, you should say how you feel. And, like, saying how I feel isn't, oh, today I feel like I was just hurt by what you did. And, like, that's not how I feel. How I feel is like, you're, oh my gosh, I think people are so, like, you're a loser. Like, this is what I just shouldn't say. You see what I'm saying? Because, like, if I'm really harsh person, basically. And I feel like it's just because I've grown up, I've just seen so much I've experienced so much harshness in my life. And so I kind of just adopted it and I kind of enjoy it. Like, that's the thing. Because I was thinking, you know what? I'm becoming more devious. Like, in not caring what everybody thinks, I'm becoming more devious, right? And I've always tried to shy away from my devious side. But then I realized something, and I kind of was having this conversation with God. It's like, how are we going to fight another devious person if you're not good at being devious yourself? And I was like, yeah, no, what, God? I like the way you think. This is why I like God, because he's like, the world is like, oh, you gotta be like this. Because I was thinking, my good girl era is gone. I don't give a crap what anybody thinks about me and what I do and what I say anymore. And as every day goes on and as I go through more and more things, I just don't care, like, more and more. And it's bringing things out of me. This is why all of a sudden I can start writing songs, because now I don't really care to say what I have to say. Because when I really get to that point, because I think people think already, this is my problem. People think already, yeah, that, like, I'm, like, because the world, let me use, like, an analogy, right? Me saying what I have to say, people will behave as though, so when most people say what they have to say, it's the equivalent of shooting a pistol, right? When I say what I have to say, it's the equivalent of shooting a machine gun at the moment. But what I really have to say is the equivalent to nuclear weapons. Does that make sense? So the fact that people quake while I'm just in this little baby stage, I'm like, God, are you sure that you sure you want me to say what I really have to say? Because the thing about being a believer, you guys, and it's not about being divisive, because a lot of people are like, you just want to be divisive and you just want to be different and you just are a loser and you're just weak, to be honest. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that, like I said to you guys, some people need to hear certain things. Like, there's so many people that hearing what they were saying was so important, like, for me to be able to, like, go on the journey that I'm going on, because somebody said what was their truth at the moment. Like, yesterday I was listening to Trisha Paytas. I love her, I've told you guys. And I used to watch her in the days when she's crying on the floor and she was having a conversation with this guy. about how she made a video talk about how she identifies, she feels like a chicken nugget, right? And again, the world is like, oh, there's something wrong with you, somebody get the meds. But she actually had a point, because she was saying basically that she feels like she's crispy and dry on the outside, but she's and soft and I can't remember how exactly she said it. So I'm gonna make a video about it anyway. And when you actually listen to what she's saying, if me listening to Trisha Paytas talk, me as a Holy Spirit filled, Bible believing follower of Jesus Christ, understands what Trisha Paytas says when she says she feels like a chicken nugget. When she sat on that floor on the kitchen table crying her eyes out, I had so much, and eating Dominoes and ordering enough for like a family of 8 to herself, right? I had so much more respect for that, right, than I do the people who come onto the internet or go out in the world and are the primest and properest, and I've got everything together, and the Christians who like, I've never done this and I've never done that, and I don't do this, and once upon a time when I used to be like this, as if you don't have struggles today, as if pride isn't also a sin, as if there's not demons you haven't dealt with, as if there isn't things you haven't swept under the carpet, all in under the guise of trying to look prim and proper and perfect. No, I want nothing to do with it. So listen, I'm quite happy being over here, being considered a delinquent, a deviant, a heathen. Call me what you want, because guess what? I'm sure of my relationship with God anyway. And he's the one who's always like, I'm like, God, I don't know what I should say today. What should I do? He's like, just tell the truth. Because I'm a truth. That's what we do in the kingdom, is we tell the truth. So like, he's basically saying to me, like, it might not be comfortable for you. It might not be comfortable for others. I might not even like it, but it's the truth. And, you know, the truth is what people need to hear, because the truth is what brings people what they need. And so for me, like right now, people seeing a video, going back to the Trisha Paytas example, people look at somebody like Trisha Paytas and her history and all the things that she's done and her chicken nugget thing. But the thing is, she's the one who's inspired me to be so vulnerable on the internet. And for all the people that in the future over my lifetime will be helped from my vulnerability and my decision to do that, is as a result of Trisha Paytas being honest one day that she feels like a chicken nugget. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is why I think people just don't understand how God works at all. Because in your head, you've put him in this box. And I used to be in that box. I used to think, oh, I need to behave like this to be a Christian girl. And I need to behave like this to please the Lord. And God's like, no. Because we're living in a broken world. You know what I mean? It's the same as these phrases that we use, like friends and family, and this will never this and that will never. It's like, no, that's how it was supposed to be. So many things, that's how it's supposed to be. That's not how it is. We've got a lot of work and fixing to do. So there needs to be people who actually tell the truth of what they are feeling, what they're going through, because whatever it was that we wanted things to be, and whatever was God's perfect intention, that was broken all the way back with Adam and Eve. All the way back then. So we would have to go all since then. Think about it. All that's happened is all this mess has been created. This is why I'm overwhelmed all the time. So I'm thinking, we've got such a mess in the world. There's so much work that needs doing. There's so much this, so much that, happening. And, the world doesn't need for us as believers to pretend that we're perfect or to lie for the sake of looking godly. The world needs us to show that we have experienced what they have, and there is actually a God who can provide real life solutions. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you struggle with, no matter what your circumstances, you know what I'm saying? No matter how hard it is for you to, do the things. This is why I know that God loves me, because I'm like, the world would never give me as many chances for how many times I fail God. Never. No one on earth would ever, and no one on earth should really, as it's healthy. You have to have healthy boundaries. But then also sometimes I think with love, it's like when they asked Jesus, how many times should I forgive when he says about forgiving 70 times 7, it's like you always do more than you think. Us in the world, we give 3 warnings. How many warnings did God give Pharaoh? He gave him 9 warnings. He said at the very beginning, I'm going to take out the firstborn sons if you don't listen. Then he gave us in the world 3 warnings, 3 strikes, you're out. God's like, okay, I'll give you 9 strikes. 9 strikes, you're out. 9 strikes, he got the 9th strike even, and then he was out. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like with God and just how he is, it's like the world doesn't need more people. Like, that's what I'm realizing. Like, the world doesn't need more people just being over airbrushed and perfect and whatever. He needs more people that are real and honest. And the real honesty is I'm a deviant delinquent. And I want to use it for the kingdom, because God was like, well, use your powers for good. You know what I mean? Use your powers, like go against the enemy, because this is what I love. I love coming up against people who think they're good at what they do, people who are devious, people who are actual devious people. And I love to outsmart them. I love outsmarting them. I love to crush them at their own game. I love it. So it's kind of like, well, Lord, you ain't got to ask me twice. The body of Christ ain't going to like it, but the body of Christ is weak anyway, living like the world, so why do I care? That's the point. And that's what's funny. And I was thinking about it just before I sat down. I was thinking, it's so funny how a lot of Christians look at me like, I don't understand how you could say that God is with you based on how you are. And it's like, exactly. That's a you problem, buddy. That sounds like a you problem. That sounds like a you problem. Just like how it was with Saul and David, right? When they came to pick David to be king, right? And again, talking about that, let's talk about that in a sec as well. But when they came to call David to be king, right? Let's look at what happened versus Saul versus David again, right? Saul was made king, and it was like he was, whatever they said about him, whatever. And he was reigning, whatever. When David came to be king, even Samuel, God's own chosen prophet or whatever, I don't know if he's a prophet or a priest in reality, because I feel like he's people always call him the prophet Samuel, but the way he's the one doing the ceremonies and stuff, it sounds more to me like he's a priest. If he's a Levite, he's definitely a priest. But anyway, but these are just the things, because Christians, we just say stuff and then we don't know where it came from. Just like how we just all have all these things that we do, like the word Trinity, like so many things that we just do. And it's like, who started it? Same, like, this is why I ask the same questions. Like with the Bible, I'm like, okay, God started it. God, this is a Bible of writings of people who had relationships with God. Got it. Cool. Right? Inspired by the Holy Spirit. But when I'm hearing these other words of Christians today, denominations, Pentecostal, I'm like, where's that in the Bible, mate? Where's Trinity in the Bible, mate? Who wrote it? The same way I was like that in school. Like, you're telling me, if you want to impress the examiner, who's the freaking examiner? Why do I give a crap what the examiner thinks? Who wrote this textbook? And why do I know this person? Do I get to decide if I agree with that person's character? Because with God, I do. But anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, David is there, like, oh, you see the Lord, thank you, Lord, for bringing the natural. You see the Lord, forget ring lights when you got the natural sunshine of the Lord. Anyway, I was just thinking, and the sunlight doesn't lose its battery like the freaking ring lights. But anyway, I am actually ill. I don't feel it right now. You see how I'm feeling like this? Fine. Watch. 2 hours, 3 hours after being inside again, I'm going to be feeling like again. Anyway, but now I feel alive, even though I don't feel well. And I feel like I just want to jump off the mountaintops. I feel like I want to jump out. I want to skydive so badly, you guys. I want to skydive so badly. If I hadn't gone to Poland, by the way, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do a whole video and everything. I was going to skydive. I would jump out of a plane so badly. Anyway, because I want to see if the anxiety I feel like with that how that compares to the anxiety I feel having faith. And again, anxiety is something Moses suffered with, because he tried to stand up for the people. The people retaliated poorly. They're like, why would you do this? They were against him. Yeah, why would you do this? They were against him. What's wrong with you? Just like the Christians today looking at me like, what's wrong with me? And he developed anxiety, just like how some of us have anxiety as well now. We're dealing with the spirit and anxiety, but we're going to try. We're working on it. You know what I mean? I've got to work through closing the doors. And that's part of what the Lord is doing, is just kind of like, look, the less cares you give, the less opportunity there is for the spirit of anxiety in your life. And that's a word, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so then Moses, yeah. So anyways, back to David. So David, he wasn't chosen. Even Samuel didn't think it was David, didn't assume it was David. God had to be like, he had to go through all his like 11 brothers, right? Before God was like, it's none of them. It's like, who is it? David. Where's David? David's out, you know what I mean? Out with the sheep, you know what I mean? Probably whatever, doing whatever, but, and that's who God has chosen to be king. And that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It never, God's God, the way God is so outside of our way of thinking. That's why I love him, because he's just so interesting. And I just love being inside his brain. I feel like getting to know God, it's like you just get to walk around his brain and just like, you know what I mean? And he's so fascinating and he's so interesting and he's just, oh, I love it. I so understand Eve from that aspect of wanting to gain the knowledge or the wisdom, but she just went to the wrong God because like, listen, over here with the God, oh my gosh. And oh, it's so much fun because God's just so outside of our thinking and he's just a genius and I love him and I just think he's so freaking cool. I just think he's so cool because he just does things different and he just can because he's God and he can do whatever the freak he wants. And not only that, everything he does, it's because he loves us and it's for the greater good. That's what I'm saying. Even this Trisha Paytas thing with the chicken nugget thing, other people are ridiculing her. Other people made fun. Listen, she was part of the reason some of us are here now having all this faith, right? That's going to break all of us into the freaking promised land. You would never think. But yeah, so, and then with David, again, it's funny, you know, we're going to go back to David and this is all, I love how everything in my life, I love how my life has synced with my YouTube videos. It's so cool. Yeah, so like how, you know, David, he didn't immediately become king. He went through so much. He went through, he's hiding in cave after cave after cave. Saul's trying to kill him. This is what I'm saying. In the world, if you're living such a comfortable life and you're just there chilling, right, and you're just there having everybody supporting everything you're doing, you might not be where you think you are with the Lord, because time after time in the Bible, God's people suffered for a while before they got to the promise. The promise came early. God said, yeah, you're going to be king. And we just spent, since we started there, how long, how many even weeks, months have we been going through the books of 1st and 2nd Samuel? And David still yet, for as far as where we are on, has not yet become king. And you're going to see what happens when he does. There ends up being arguments because there's some stragglers of Saul's sons who are like, well, we feel like we should be king because that was our dad was king. But then obviously we remember that God gave Saul, as when Saul had his first punishment, because God gave him many chances before he got to the point where he stopped even talking to him, which is crazy. For you to have ticked off God to the point that he stops talking to you is extreme. But I feel like it's because he's king and he's the king of God's people. And this is what I'm saying. Being in a place of responsibility, of any type of responsibility under God, is not a joke. Hence why I'm so happy that I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl who makes YouTube videos. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I've got no responsibilities. I've got no one I'm responsible for. So there's no one that the Lord can tell me other than you guys. But you guys, I try to be as transparent as possible. And I feel like you're all, this is aimed at adults. But you know, even now, the Lord's going to hold me accountable. Like you said this on YouTube. You wanted to call yourself the daughter of the king. How many times did you call yourself the daughter of the king? So this is why I like being in my position. I'm just like, God, just don't do anything else, actually. Let me just go be in Antarctica and I could just pop down like an oracle and share whatever the Lord is saying and then just hop back on my private jet back to Antarctica and be with my animals. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of pressure. So, you know, God's first punishment was that the kingship and is going to end with you. Like your bloodline is not going to continue, like, because you know that's obviously how it normally continues. So his sons, after they were there left straggling, after Saul had died and whatever, are now going to also battle David. So David is still fighting for the spot that God has given to him. That's where faith comes into it as well with everything. It's like no matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, you have to maintain that faith, because not only is the enemy going to come against you, but the enemy is going to use the people closest to you, always. And this is what I said to you guys. The enemy will always use who's closest to you. It's like in The Matrix, and I always use the Mr. Smith example of how Mr. Smith, again, I don't know how people don't see these things, because I watched this movie long after everybody else. And I've heard many people talk, oh, The Matrix. It's like, but well, what did you learn? Because you learned nothing. Dingbats. Anyway, you know, and so like in Mr. Smith, whenever he's trying to get near Neo, right, he always shapeshifts into the person that's closest to Neo. So that's why a lot of us, it's always going to be the closest people to us that are going to be our number one enemies. You know what I mean? It has to be that way. And it has to be that way for the world as well. That's why the world is created in such a way where you don't talk about your close relationships, don't talk about what your friend did, you don't talk about your family. But if it's your spouse, if it's your boyfriend, if it's your girlfriend, it's fine. You see what I'm saying? Because exactly going back to Adam and Eve, because that's exactly what the devil wants to separate men and women. But if it's a friend, and if it's God forbid, it's a family member. But if it's your spouse, oh, you can go on a smear campaign. You can say what you have to say. If it's your girlfriend, you can say what you have to say. You know what I'm saying? If it's the government, it's just like, that's what I'm just like, it's just so obvious. But yeah, so it's crazy how that all figures itself out. So I feel like the Lord has been like, I've been consciously trying to like destroy my old reputation for being reliable and responsible and mature. I've been trying to intentionally destroy it. I hope people are being disappointed by me. I hope I look like somebody no one wants to have around. They don't want to marry their son and they don't want to have around. I hope. You know why? Because then I can actually communicate what I have to say, from a place of humility without people having this expectation, because it's not real. Like, I lived my whole life for a long time chasing, like, doing all the right things, but it was never real. I was depressed the whole time. I was depressed. I was plagued. Like, think about how many issues I still have now, right? Despite all the work that me and the Lord have done, or the Lord has done, really. I've just participated. Imagine how much worse it was before, and I still freaking won. So can you imagine how much I'm going to win now? You guys haven't even seen me in my final form. This is what I'm saying. Listen, the people who are coming up against me, you picked the wrong one. You messed with the wrong one, because if I could already beat people in this state, look at me now. Look at me now. Anyway, so yeah, so I realized that the Lord is like, he's like, this is actually self-development for you. You might not like it. It might not be comfortable. It's not great, but it's building your character. It's getting you to become, be faced with what kind of person do you really want to be. Because like right now, it's like, I could try and like become all like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Let me switch back to my old ways of trying to, no. Similar to David, he's like, he had the opportunity to kill Saul. Could he? Would he be justified? Yes. Will he? No. Just like me, I could do a lot of things. Listen, I share a lot. This is what's funny. Can I tell you something that's the funniest part of everything that's happening to me right now? People be so quick to share my information, my private information they know I don't want shared. And the thing is, I'm sharing enough just so that I get to share my story, because I deserve to share my story. That's what the Lord told me. But the thing is, I'm not out here saying the things to the degree that they are. And if I was... we'll see who sways the jury of the sheeple, right? So I'm taking the high road anyway. So yeah, anyways, guys, I'm gonna skedaddles soon. I'm gonna sit for a little bit because the sun is moving, and listen to the sound, God's soundtrack. The trees, the leaves, and they're all falling. Finally, keep falling. Can't wait for there to be no leaves on the trees. I swear I'm gonna do a photo shoot this year. Screw it. This winter, I'm doing a photo shoot. When the leaves are off the trees, excuse me, and especially with my golden skin popping amongst the dark, cold winter, like, sky. Are you kidding me? Anyway, yeah, you guys, look at this. The leaves are flying everywhere. Yeah, you better keep falling. Keep falling. Keep falling, because we can't wait. I don't like fall, though, by the way, guys. I'm not a fan of fall or autumn, as people over here. Not a fan. This is just messy. It's hella messy now. There's just leaves everywhere. Just get gone. Like, anyway. But yeah, I hope you guys understand the points of this video, and that yeah, like, the Lord creates us the way he creates us for a reason. And I feel like I'm just on special ops. You know what I mean? Somebody has to be devious enough to go after Jezebel. Look how many men fell to Jezebel in the Bible. Horror. Look how many women would rather just become a Jezebel so they can be controlling or have power or be worshipped or whatever. Screw that. Like I was saying before, fighting over a man. How could I lower myself to compete with another woman over a man? Are you dumb? How much must I hate myself? That's their problem. That's their error in judgment, my friend. That's why whenever I realize that there's any kind of competition happening with a female, oh my God, I'm like, you're competing with me. Why can't we just win together? Like I was saying yesterday, why can't we just win together? We're competing now. And anyways, you're no competition anyway. So that's the other thing. But yeah, it's just, I'm just here in this moment. Oh, what are these people doing? They look like colleagues on their work break. It's so annoying that they cut down all these trees. Not everybody's so comfortable here. But anyway, you guys get the gist. Yeah, you never know why the Lord's doing what the Lord is doing. You never know why things are happening the way they're happening, but the Lord is cooking. And honestly, even since I've been back from hospital, my amount of caring what people think has gone down significantly. The amount of faith I have has actually increased significantly. And honestly, a lot of things I was stressed about, I'm no longer stressed about because I just don't care. Don't care. And I'm kind of like ready for a fight now. Like before I was trying to avoid, that's actually probably the biggest change. Before I was trying to avoid, getting into any confrontations about anything with anyone. And now I'm like, oh, step forward. Step forward if you dare. I dare you. I dare you to step forward. Because the thing is, in the past, I would coddle people and I would be nice because I could see that if I even bring out, you're just a little pistol and I'm only being a machine gun right now, but I'm going straight to nuclear weapon. Don't you worry. And I don't care. I don't care if there's on a crisp if you left afterwards. You should have never stepped forward. You should have never stepped up to come against me because I'm not coming against you. The thing is, guys, I said this in a video the other day. Or did I? Or was this a conversation I was having with someone? That like winners will never create enemies. Like as a winner, you never have enemies. The only reason you have enemies is because the losers make themselves your enemy because they come against you because they think somehow that there's something they're going to benefit from that. And they don't realize that that's actually exactly what's going to meet their demise because they don't realize that you're way stronger than them, which is why you're winning. And so they're going to lose out because they don't have what it takes. They don't have what it takes. So they're going to take the L. It was just like Saul. Saul didn't have what it took. He was quaking in the freaking caves. Oh, the Philistines are coming up against me. And his freaking son, right, the fruit of his loin had to come out to go and fight. Flipping David, who's been off with the sheep. And they're all saying, if the Lord wills, if I will be able to, we shall prevail. If the Lord wills, we shall prevail. And they had faith. Oh. If the Lord wills, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying is like, I'll tell you guys in a second. There's a big group of people doing something so freaking annoying. I'll tell you in a second. But yeah, like if the Lord wills, I will prevail. Saul clearly didn't have the relationship with God that he thought he had. And that's the problem. You see, this is what happens when you mess with a person that actually has a relationship with God. Because the thing is that God will actually back us up even if you don't get it. Because he doesn't have to explain himself to you because he's God. He's the freaking best and he's a freaking gangster. And I like him and I love him and I think he's amazing. And why would I serve anybody else? And also, let me tell you the best part about being a child of God, right? Actually, I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to say it now. Actually, I will. Is that the more you just be yourself, your natural self, like you created you to be, the happier you'll be. And like the more you'll be close to him because that's who he created you to be anyway. That's why me and him are getting closer. Meanwhile, me and the world are getting further apart and me and others are getting further apart because like you're becoming more and more like the daughter that I created. And I'm like, this is the daughter you created. I love it here. I absolutely love it. And yeah, by the way, just to let you know, there was a bunch of freaking idiot adult people, right? Feeding the flipping animals. And I'm like, stop feeding the animals our processed stuff. God is feeding them. And it says in the Bible, if the God will feed the birds and the whatevers, then why not would he feed us? You know, one of his scriptures talks about provision. I hate when people try to feed the freaking wild animals. Let nature be nature. Why for giving them food out of a packet like some... Like, this is what I'm saying. We ruin everything. We ruin everything. Anyways, guys, if life's again, let's make to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I'm going to go in now because it is getting cold and I am unwell. So let's not be unwise. And I can feel the Holy Spirit giving me the little nudge to say, okay, enough. For the yapping. Enough of the outside. Go and get on with your day. So that's what we're going to do anyways. You guys, I love you so much. Because if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Also, what a stark difference this video is to yesterday's video where I was crashing out and I was getting so upset. See how different it is just from me being in nature, recording in nature. I should record outside more often. Anyway. I've said it so many times. I almost kissed the thing and that would have been so cringy. Anyways, guys, God bless you. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.